The Joy of Functional Game Dev, Project 1, Episode 7. Hello again, everyone. Nice to see you. And today it's been a couple days since I've done any recording, so I was taking a look at where we're at with the project and what we want to do, what I want to do next. And so wasn't quite completely resolved with the font thing, and I struggled a lot last time with sprite font and XNB files and all that fun stuff. And I actually think that the sprite font itself is unnecessary now that I have the XNB. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to prove that out. Or prove it live. Well, not live, because I'm going to record this and I'm going to wait a couple days before it actually goes up there. Yeah, that's how that works. So, it's not being copied, and so if it works, then we're cool with just the XNB, and we appear to be cool with just the XNB. We're going to delete it just to be sure. Or do I want to delete it? Or is it... I need a new one. Where'd you go? You went way over there. Let's just take a look here. Hidden money face. Suppose there's not really anything. We're gonna take that out. We're going to put it down here with the MGCB file. We're going to... It doesn't exist. Where'd it go? Oh no. Yes, I know. Okay. Yeah, I know. I get it. Oh, I may have to put it back. It's so fun. Hi, my name is Visual Studio, and I can't figure out things. Okay, we'll put you back. Now we're back. Yes to all. And we're going to delete you. Okay, clean. I do want to make absolutely certain that in bin debug content there's nothing there, nothing up my sleeve, so that indeed the font is there. It is. All right. Now I think underneath, instead of having my score font anymore, we're going to ditch Mr. Score font, and instead we are going to draw the score. So where did draw score go? So I don't need to do this anymore. So I no longer need draw digit. So that's no longer necessary. So really I just need that needs to move up there. And really I just need, and this is the text right here. Let text equal that. Don't have to fold things anymore, so that's all cool. And I probably don't even need to do any of that junk anymore. I don't need texture, I just need a sprite batch. I do need a font. So now things are draw score. Do need a sprite batch, so I need those things to pass to there. That's the text. Problem with you? Okay, it's unfinished, so the score will print to there, and I will draw text. I also don't need the DH and DI. See, and the cool thing is it's a XY text. Just color dot white font sprite match. Well, and that was, chances are we don't need that anymore. Need a font. And let's get away from these ugly. It's not score anymore. I want time spent total seconds to int. I want this. So there's that. We'll call it XY. We don't need any of that junk. So cool, and then cause that to go over there. And really, the double forward pipe here, not an appropriate use of double pipe. It is actually kind of weird. So there's that. Draw score. What am I missing? What fonts? Normal. There's that. You know, I suppose really I could as printf some of this other stuff, but I just want to see if we work. Eek. Okay. And there is no one called score font anymore. So we yank you very much. And there we have it. Okay, we're cool. Now, I don't exactly recall what we were doing with this font, but what I did find was in my downloads. Where are we at? Okay, I'm going to bring this over here. The redistributable fonts TTF. Now, where did I find this? Bathroom wall of the internet. No. So, and here's a little. Found on the blog. There's a link to. This is where all. Oh, that's a. Yeah, I've downloaded it a bunch of times. Goes directly to it. But so here's 8 fonts. And we will take a look at these right here. I'll try not to check them in, see if I remember. So here's Cooten, here's Lynn's, here's Miramo. Okay, that's a good thick one. Now, when in Windows 10, and I am assuming so Miramo B, so it must be Miramo Black. So, oh good. Install Miramont. So preview that. That's a. So I need to go Miramont. That's the name of you. I always hate in the in an open type. You cannot select things. I should be able to select things. Miramont with an E. All right. So I should be able to open my sprite font, and I go Miramonti. And then, I don't know if this is going to yell at me. don't want somebody face content. That's nothing there. So we're going to add existing item. Add the sprite font. And we're going to build and see what happens again. We're going to cancel. We're going to actually, we're going to delete you. We'll actually call it Miramonte. We'll have a second font in here. File, open, add, existing item, Miramonte. We're going to build. Yeah, I love saving the project first. So then, if I go to bin, there's Miramonte XNB. Okay, we're going to copy you over project 1, money face, content, Miramonte XNB, and if we did this right, we bring you in, an existing item, XNB, come on, Miramonte. Okay, we say there. Now we tell it to content, copy if newer. We're going to add him to our font list. I don't have a name for you yet, but so we're going to just call you Miramonte. That's just Miramonte. Normal Miramonte. Okay, we'll find wherever you are, and we're going to use Miramonte. And if this works the first time, I will be absolutely amazed, because things never work right the first time for me. And when they do, I'm always a little scared. Are you going to work? Well, that's just weird. It worked. So now we got Miramonte, and we can redistribute Miramonte, so we're cool. It's a nice looking font. It's way better than the Courier New. All right, that's neat. We can get that. So do we need normal anymore? I don't know. Maybe we need normal to debug some things. But one of the things that bothers me a bit is this. So I've got load textures and I've got load fonts. And pretty soon, I'm going to want to figure out how to load audio. And over here in this thing, I got font keys and texture keys. So now, and then, right, I've got a map of textures. I've got a map of fonts. I will have a map of sound files. And whatever, there's any other type of asset that I'm going to be interested in, I'm going to need another map. And I don't really want that. What I want is a single map of assets, and F# is going to allow us to do that. And by using a discriminating union. So we have these font IDs and texture IDs, and instead we're going to have maybe a bit of moving to it, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to refactor, and we're going to say type asset ID, and we're going to get rid of our find here because I don't want it highlight normal all the time, equals, we'll call it normal font, Miramonte font, avatar texture, texture playfield texture and we don't need square font anymore because square font is no longer a thing. But so in order to do this, we're going to need type asset type equals, it's either a texture of string. It's not a texture of string. It's a texture of texture 2D. See, there's a loaded asset type and there's a configured asset type. So a configured asset type is a texture of string and a font of string. And type loaded asset type equals texture of texture 2D, font of sprite font. Alright, and so we're going to say instead of load textures, we're going to say let load assets with a content manager. And that is going to take our list of things and we're actually going to combine them. So we're going to take in, you know what, this is perfect. Crap. I don't know how to do it because since it has an individual type for these two different things, I could do this. So asset type texture font. All right. Well, we're going to go down this rabbit hole and see where it leads. Okay. So we're going to say a normal font is a texture, that's going to be a string. It's going to be font. It's a normal underscore font, sorry. Normal underscore font is a texture font. And here with Miramonte font is a right. All right, and let's do our I don't want a texture font. Hold on. I'm already doing it wrong. All right. So dollar texture and playfield texture. Those are textures. These are fonts. So I can tell that at this point, load assets goes to an asset type string. All right. And then we're going to we will do similar sequence map on ID, comma, asset will give us ID. Then this we will have to make a function. So there's going to be let load asset, which takes an ID and an asset and is going to return us something. We're going to do sequence map with load asset, and we don't exactly know yet what it's going to do. So it's going to take ID and asset, and it's going to return ID. So if it returned ID and asset, but it's not. So load assets would take that and then spit it back out. But what we want to do is we want to replace string. So what I want to do is match asset with texture file name or font file name. Going to give me, okay, I'm going to go let loaded asset equal font. That's a texture. It's going to be a texture, and I do need the content manager. Okay. Alright, this is going to work. It's going to complain at me. It's going to be load asset, but this is where currying and partial application will be our friend. So we take that, and it's going to be a font. Yes, sir. It's going to be a sprite font. System arguments. Loaded asset. Well, we have type texture 2D sprite font. What does it not? Well, X. Boy, see what I did here. Let's use a capital N. Alright. So now what it'll do is the loaded asset will take whatever the asset was passed in, which will be asset type string, and it will spit it out as the loaded, and convert it into the loaded asset, and the asset will get loaded, and then at this point it is a, and then this is just a map of seek. Okay, so now the load asset will spit me out a map of those things and that asset type. So, cool. Now instead, alright. So now instead, over here, I no longer need a texture key, font key. I need an asset key, no font key, when asset key has comparison, and there is no font key. And I can't, I need an asset loader. Just got that to texture key. I no longer need a font loader. I don't need, so unfortunately it's not going to be to a texture 2D. be, I'm going to need the asset value, because that's what it's going to store in there. Map to that. I don't need textures, I do need assets. And that's going to be to asset value. And okay, fonts we no longer need. We need assets. This content asset loader. See, and at this point I've asset loader, which takes a content manager and spits out a, it doesn't know what it is yet because I need my asset key. So it's a map of asset key, asset value, asset loader will now load it. So now it needs so multiple asset, mutable assets. What's the problem? Function value, of course, in my game renderer. So I don't need that anymore. So I do need asset key, asset value, and we can totally take that out. And then that's going to be quiet. And so we refactored at least the big game so that we can get that. But now it's going to say, "Hey, dude, I have no idea what you're doing." Because if I build it, it will complain. There it is. And it says, "Remember 6 regulars, we use 7, blah, blah, blah." So instead we're going to go dot load assets. We call that dot asset ID. And this one is called my game asset type. And which one is that going to be? It's going to be texture and font. So it's going to be a texture 2D, sprite, font. And I need potential fixes. Let's open that. Now it's going to be different angry. Load assets. Oh, I don't need load fonts anymore. It's got the right. But now draw game. And the rabbit hole goes down. Alright, so my game.drawGame. Game.drawGame. Where do we go? We got assets. Map asset ID to asset type texture 2D sprite font. I don't need textures anymore. And of course, any place where fonts textures goes will have to become now assets. But that's going to make that mad. Alright, turtles all the way down. There's that guy. This is no longer making any sense. But these will. Or will it? So, have the asset. Now it's in the thing, but now I gotta grab it out of there. So then really, type, not type, let get texture from asset, which is an asset type, texture font equals match asset with texture value, some value, everything else is none. So we're going to make a get font. And I think for today, we're going to get to the end of this, and then we're going to say done for the day, because this is about as far as we're going to get. So we have get texture, get font. We can get it from an asset type. That's cool. Get font. And alright, so alright, we're gonna let's see if we can. Let's see if this. Okay, so we have assets. Dot Mira Monty font, which is a thing, and we send it to get font. And we send it to option dot get. And we say, all right. It compiles at least. So obviously that's this sucks, right? So in my draw texture, I have a texture ID. I don't want the texture ID. I want a texture, which is going to be a texture 2D. We're going to go out the middleman. Really, that's going to pass that along. Alright. We don't need to pass the textures anymore because we have a texture 2D. It's also kind of wrong because we want everything else. We have X and Y first. So let's do that. We don't need to return that. So now it kind of looks like a draw text and a draw score and other stuff, and it makes this very, very angry. So draw texture is an XY texture and then a sprite batch. So completely, so sprite batch draw texture 0, 0, and we need what texture it is. At this point, it's assets dot what's it called? Play field texture. Get texture option get. Okay. We may decide to hide this a little bit better, but so now we've got 3. We want the avatar texture, the dollar texture, and I imagine we can just, so that's the avatar. Put that in there, grab that, put that in there, then this all goes away. And this is incredibly silly, but alright. And do we build? Or are we angry? It is not angry. Does it work? No. Okay, no exception. Able to cast object of type. Wait, what does load do? So let's stop for a second. What does it do? Name string goes to really? Well, let's actually specify texture to the sprite font, because that's what we want. Up, we want a asset ID star that. So that is what we want. Alright. Can we try again? No exception of invalid cast exception referred there. Doesn't do anything weird like really specify dot texture dot font. Alright, maybe. Come on. Or are these things a little too, was I too clever? Can't do it. So, unable to cast. Did I do it wrong? What did I do wrong? So, it's a texture font, texture of texture, font of font. So, asset type texture2d.texture with the content manager load that. Can I do this? Come on. CNY. This is going to wind up being a really weird casting thing. Load. What is this thing? So this thing's here. Oh, might it be? Still no. What am I taking a look for? See, I'm not but I'm not. I'm casting it to, I'm going to specify the type here of asset set type string. We are going to figure this out. Yes, we are. We're going to do this here. We're going to do it now. Still no. See, that sucks. So let the loaded asset, which is a... Well, here's the thing. I've never specified... Ugh, what happened? Oh, that was a control. Okay, so end. Load asset and user are one of these. That. File name. did I? Now here's the thing. Did I do it wrong? So normal font. All this time, dude. That's I'm trying to take a sprite font and make it into a texture. Well, that's because you're loading a sprite font and making it into a texture. My goodness. Yeah. I hope that you were screaming at me. Well, now there's a whole lot of unnecessary everything. All right, so that we're wow. I am totally completely speechless. So defeated. I no longer need font ID and texture ID. Wow. Now I did it right. And I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. I don't need that anymore. I don't need... And this thing. I don't need that. I don't need that. Remember, type inference can't save you from trying to load the wrong resource. You ever have those? You ever get that frustrated? Alright. But now, okay. Over it now. Now we have a really nice, uniform way of doing assets. And when we go ahead and add an audio file, we'll have an audio. We'll put an audio file here. And then a get text or get font. But this here, this sucks. So what to do about that? That's a yep, that's lame. But what are you gonna do? Still want my assets. It's okay for now, but well then, and really, if it really bothers me all that much, I just go let Miramonte equals that. I don't have assets or a I don't know. No, I guess I can't because it's not. The global list is really. Yeah, no, it spits it out. Okay, so there's no global list. So it would need it. I'll figure out some way of doing it because this is way too verbose. But we'll get it. Maybe a partition. I don't know. Maybe it's something. Whatever. Or maybe that's just what we live with. Okay. Well, I've gone on long enough, and we've gotten absolutely nothing new done other than, hey, look, we changed the font to Miramonte. Aren't we awesome? But you know, refactor work is like that. You struggle with something, and then you just wind up in some stupid thing that you can't see, and you need another set of eyes for. And I think I need a friend on Skype or something to keep me from blathering on about these things for far too long. In any case, let's look at our Trello board so we can kind of come up with, well, what are we doing next? Hey, we got this. We got easier to see score time. Squee, we did it. The labels, we did squee. Now we could always change what it looks like later, but 60-second game timer labels. We did it, squee. Got all that. Hey, look at all the squeeze stuff over here. Rudiments of game state we actually also have done, and that is we're gonna do a little. This is I know how I want to do this. And I think then after that, have audio. Yeah. So next time, we're going to pull in some audio. And we're going to put in some better rudiments of game state. Up in, I would say, better fonts. We got that. All right, cool. Thanks for stopping. See you next time. The Joy of Functional Game Dev, Project 1, Episode 7.